Who's that? You're looked in this, but well, it's two to do.
Heath Lloyd.
Piano player.
Okay, so we're in lockdown with Lionel still. He's going to tell me about a gig he did in Cardiff in the Great Western years ago. He was playing a double bass with Red, Nova. Who are you playing the bass with?
No bass, guitar. Tal Farlow.
Tal Farlow. Well, you were playing the bass.
I'm the bass player.
Yeah, he was playing the bass.
On this session.
So he's going to play a session and tell us all about it. Okay.
Well, do you want me to... I won't start it up yet, we'll have a chat first.
No. Start saying you can talk over it.
Alright, okay. Well, we can turn it down. Okay, let's...
It's okay.
John.
It's not very loud coming out of that speaker.
It's coming on now.
So it's on CD, it's modern, this one.
Yeah, from cassette tape. It was recorded on cassette tape, possibly reel to reel with BBC. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right. It's 19. This was recorded the 23rd of the 9th, 81. And my name is Lionel Davis, D-A-V-I-S without an E. And I've been off the professional full-time with the Dave Gill Quartet, 68. So we're now 3 years later. And I had a certain credential with my friends, which mainly responsible at the time was Jed Williams, our drummer with the Eric Herbert Trio. A lot of people didn't know he even played drums, but we operated as a house trio in Brecon, blah blah. Anyway, he used to negotiate highly rated gigs with top Americans, albeit they'd be on their second wind, possibly past their peak of playing, but they were coming to Europe sometimes for the first time. I wouldn't know about Red Novo, Tal Farlow. They most probably have been here before, but they generally come in with their wives for a holiday, and they decided with people like Jed Williams, who was an agent, and also all the top agencies in Britain, that they'd either do it as, certainly the Red Novo and Tal Farlow, they were doing it as a duo, but they were prepared to use a bass player as long as he knew the material and he had sufficient credential to handle the gig. Jed Williams most probably said, well, Lionel Davis is fearless. He was talking about this before I even knew about it. Anyway, he came on the phone once, he said, I've got Red Nova and Tal Farlow. I said, well, who's playing with them? He said, you are. I said, Tal Farlow. Of course, in the early days, they used the famous Charles Mingus, who was a light-skinned black man, the virtuoso bass player. He was the bass player, and they played incredible music, chromatic, Charlie Parker bebop arrangements of their own ilk, although Red Novo was doing this in the late 20s. He was an extremely modern thinking man, even though he played right through the swing era. And Tal Farlow was the first white after Charlie Christian. Listened to Charlie Christian, who was a black player who died very young with Benny Goodman, and developed this incredible bebop style. You have massive hands, harmonic playing. We don't have to go too depth because anyone who knows Tal Farlow is just, you just don't say anymore, you just listen to him. Anyway, Jed said, do you fancy doing it? Anyway, he wound me up a few times with this, saying they'd sacked Ronnie Matheson, and the other bass players are going to laugh if they hear this. Ronnie Matheson only lasted 2 numbers, and Ronnie's... I said to Jed, I said, well, Ronnie didn't only made 20, why not bloody well get anywhere near them? And he said, I'm only joking, I'm making sure that you're going to be there on time. So anyway, it was an incredible gig, and I had a shoulder problem, and everything they did, the first number was All of Me. He wasn't particularly happy to start. Once he decided the set was right, that's all he said. He said, Hey young man, do you know all of me? Well, we're starting that in C, and that is literally the only words I ever said to Red Novo. And we did 2 sets because there's so many famous people there. People came from London, all over. Guitarists, I got to know Tal Farlow after this gig, although I met him in America, I think, quickly. Wasn't a personal friend, but he used to like to talk about Guinness, and we gave Red a Guinness, and the second set went unbelievable. Not a word was spoken between numbers, and there was no tempo. It was, and anyway, I got to know Tal Farlow and did many gigs with Tal as a duo. We never discussed music whatsoever, and a lot of you youngsters won't believe this because all you use is your mobiles and tablets.
How do you spell Tal?
Tal-O-T.
How do you spell it all?
Which one?
All of it.
All, A-L?
No, not all of you. Penis. Tal, how do you spell his name?
T-A-L, Tal. Farlow. F-A-R-L-O-W. Guitar player.
Tal Farlow. Where's he from?
He was New York, but I don't know where he was born, but American. Both Americans. Yeah.
He was a guitar player?
Yes, he's the guitar player with the red nose. That's him. That's how I would have known him in his later life. There he is there. That's me. I'll show you the photograph in the other room. Got it.
Okay.
He was an incredible virtuoso. He could play anything. A lot of people couldn't play what he played. He had huge hands, and he developed... anyway, all we discussed...
So where was this gig? Tell me where the gig was.
The Great Western Hotel in Cardiff, which is now a Wetherspoons. It's on the corner, and it was called the Lion's Den. All you old people will remember that. And it was a rock and roll late night Lion's Den beer keller. It was be called the beer keller eventually, but the Western people and the landlord, they gave it to Jed Williams with the Welsh Jazz Society as a part of the jazz scene in Cardiff. And I played there with I can't remember how many mega famous people. Of course, unfortunately, they're all gone. I played there with Wild Bill Davison and some of the people I can't remember. Another trumpet player, Jimmy McPartland, who was trained in Wales in the war on the Gower as a GI. He was famous, everyone would know Marion McPartland he was married to. I played there, no, I didn't play with Eddie Lockjaw there, but Al Cohen, probably the most famous tenor player, but countless of others, Americans in there, because I was known as a freelancer and played with the Dave Price trio, I can't think of the other, Dennis Hickman, Colin Woodman, Ian McLennan, most of them gone.
Tell me.
Oh, Jay McShann was.
Tell me about this gig in Cardiff. The recording of it and the photos of it. This gig in Cardiff.
Yes.
Tell us about this gig now.
No, this is the same gig.
Yeah, tell us about it. You haven't told us about it.
All right, well, here we are. What number are we now?
Who recorded this then?
This was done by Jeff Meredith on a Sony Pro Walkman, transferred to CD. Incredible sound.
You're the bass player?
I am the bass player.
Is that the bass? It's not that bass.
No. This is, can't think of the number, but people will know. It's a famous number. It's the trouble I made you, and you can't remember. You know the tune, but you can't put the name to it. It's, well, I can put to give a taste, we'll fade this one out, and the second set went like incredible. There's very little people thought we were a band anyway. We'll fade now and put the other one on.
How many of you were there? How many playing?
3 of us. Just the 3, no drums. So we do that. Stop. a film of it as well. The Beeb were there. God knows how many recordings of this gig, because it was mega famous. All the guitar players, there was possibly 20 guitar players in the room.
Yeah.
People came from London. I should say there's only one other bass player to my knowledge who did it in London. They did most of it, just a pair of them. And the joke about Ronnie Matheson, who was my dear friend, was a wind-up to say he couldn't cope with the gig. Well, Ronnie would cope with anything. I said, if he didn't cope with it, you expect me to play with him? I mean, they want to know how... I said, well, I didn't care, you see. You can't go off on a stand worrying about things. You just got to... I would have said no if it was something ridiculous. I would have said no way. But I didn't say a thing. There you are, CD2. Well, let's put the... This is most probably a better recording again. Red 2.
Is it the same gig?
Yes, same one. Red 2, which is Paul Donnelly with BBC. I expect this is off the reel to reel.
Oh.
I can't remember the first number. It'll be
like from one of these.
It would have been if it was BBC, but I can't remember. It's 81. We're talking 40 years ago.
Wow, 38. Yeah, not quite 40. Almost 40 years ago.
Yeah. Coming up.
Yeah, well, I was born when this gig, so it was less than 40 years ago.
Second set. Better recording.
Louder.
Right. Ha! So he started, never said. The number is St. Thomas by Sonny Rollins, and I take quite a roll on this. How I managed it, I don't know.
What's a roll?
Well, it sounds like we've been rehearsing. It's a 3-part harmony. So you youngsters, get back to the drawing board. This was a one-off. No music, nothing. Good, huh?
Not bad.
Push him into 4, whether they want it or no, from my Latin. More or less. Big band. He was an incredible player. Around to prove it. It's me on bass, and there was no rehearsal, just a gig. Naming Dave Stevens was there, still alive, lives in Port Hall, and Jeff Moretz lives in Chepstow. He was there.
What do they play?
Jeff Moretz, saxophone and trumpet. Dave Stevens was our very old drummer in the early days. I haven't seen him for years, but he was there, and he was the one who said, "How do you look so super cool?" I said, "I'm in pain, Dave. My shoulder."
Because you're in pain.
I was in pain.
You're all hunched over.
See, very fast notes with the guitar, but I do a bass thing now. I did several solos, whether I wanted to do it or no. Oh, it's Red's dropped out.
So that's the guitarist.
Yeah, no, it's just me and Tal now. Red's dropped out.
Who's that banging?
Red Nova, but he's laid out at the moment. It's just me and the guitar player.
He's doing the drumming.
Well, he does drumming things on the vibes, but there's no drummer.
Okay.
He does drum things on the vibes, you know, percussion.
It's a vibe.
Vibes, vibraphone, yeah.
Is that an instrument?
Vibraphone.
I've never heard of it.
Well, no, it's
That?
it's just known as the vibes.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. It's a piano with percussion.
Like a glockenspiel.
Yeah, you got it.
Ah,
You became electronic in here. You are bass solo now. And Tal is doing the bongos on the guitar. They love the guitar.
this is you.
We do a 3-part harmony. We come out. I take the lead. It's cheeky. Big smile. Anyway, Charles said, "Red digs you're playing," so I remember that. And that's all I know. I can't believe it. I've heard this for years. Rapturous applause, of course.
Nobody claps though.
Yes, they do. Listen to this now. You are? No. Now, it's no break whatsoever. This will be a guitar feature I can't remember. Incredible. Well, the guitar players here. There wasn't my friend Johnny Silver saying, "Shut up." That was his voice. Body and soul. I don't know if it's better with the bass off. We'll try it. It won't be a lot. No, it's bass on. No, it's brighter with it off. Just the bass enhancement. I think it's a bit more. It's enough. It's a bit more medium up with it off. Well, it's in a very old Philips multi-system. I got it with equalizer as good as we can get out of it. It's not high tech, but there you are. That's what you're listening to. CD through this, I guess this unit would be 70s, I expect. 80s?
Well, yeah, it's got no CDs on it.
No, there's no CD on it.
Yeah,
it's only twin tape. No, that's mine.
Attach it separately. Yeah.
Just plugged into the back.
Yeah. Very clever.
It's all solo. It's all just him playing solo. We're most probably doing the next number very fast. He does. I seem to remember we did Cheek to Cheek, very, very fast tempo. Fascinating Rhythm, that was the other one. The old tunes, they nearly killed me. Ooh, look at the camera. I remember having shoulder playing, left shoulder, a few painkillers and a couple of pints of Guinness, killed all known pain. I had pain through a motor racing accident from years back. And anyway, 3 pints of Guinness and a painkiller.
Your left shoulder had gone, is it?
Well, I didn't feel a thing, but when we started, once you play with people like this, you tend to forget about everything.
You had a car crash?
Well, racing, you know, I used to sprint cars and no, just the banging the car, more or less overcorrection and banging on something. Which was the other door, swung it back, didn't crash.
What kind of car is it?
My Bristol 404, works Bristol 404, ran a 54. Works copy. Here we are, now. Listen to the gap, is there any gap? See? Straight from that to this.
Okay.
There never will be another you. Now I could say, you know, but this time I was now overconfident. Because I pushed the time like hell here. So you listen, all you young bass players, how it should be done. I push them.
Don't talk over it.
No, I don't talk.
No, I'm telling you, tell us what we're meant to be
pushing the
listening
time.
for. What does that mean?
Well, trying to put it slightly ahead of the beat. And they're looking at you so it really swings and it's got what they call, you've got the groove. So I've now got just natural confidence.
So
they're both incredible players.
Are they going to keep up with you?
Well, no, it's all equal thing. My God, they were virtuoso, albeit older. I would have been how old?
40.
40 odd, yeah. Well, I was a lot younger.
42.
I haven't heard this for years. But there's no music. You see, that's what is wrong in jazz today, in my opinion. All these numbers, there was no discussion about anything whatsoever. I didn't know what was coming up. Farlow didn't know what was coming up. Because he was the boss. And he was about 75. And he had a decade. He was still playing incredibly well. All I got was an odd smile. And he did say in the break, he said, the bass man is really doing the job, man. Do you know him? And Tal said, I've met him before once, but maybe, but he's got a natural, and you can't learn what people like, that type of bass player. You can't learn it. It's a feel. Either you got it or you haven't got it. It's a lot of what we call abstraction, which is, but the bass line generally resolves to rooting fifth, or he goes home, as Ray Brown, the great Ray Brown, used to say. But there's a lot of splashing notes which are accidentals, which you can't teach that, you can't learn that in any music college. You either got it, or you either hear it, or give up and take up some other instrument. And half the numbers we do on here, it'll take me hours to even write down the chord sequence. So there you are, take that lot. Johnny Joe Sweeney would know what I was talking about. Ashley Smile, he was a college man. All the old people, friends of mine, with the same ilk, we're all gone. But you learn music now, rightly or wrongly, there are a lot of great players, virtuoso young players, but they'll never achieve, in my opinion, the master sounds of the previous master players, because it was all acoustic. There's no electronics. They all had their own sound, and any proper bass player will agree with that. So you immediately knew Slam Stewart, Basie's Walter Page, Eddie Safransky, Oscar Pettiford, Paul Chambers, Percy Heath, and the great Ray Brown. Any bass player worth its salt would be able to pick out any one of those bass players off a disc. But today, it could be a Chinese bass player playing, albeit incredible bass, but there'd be no what I call personality in the playing. There would be nothing of their own. It's everything they've learned. It's a learning process, but rightly or wrongly. But that's not jazz. Jazz was a natural thing. Some of the old players didn't know what the hell they were doing. The early bass players like Pops Foster, who was still playing at 100. He was the first, after tuba was used in jazz. So his life, he had not a very good, he always regretted he never learned to play with the proper technique, but on his middle years and final years, he's bloody note perfect, almost. Eddie Jones, a lot of people don't this, we count Basie on the famous Atomic Basie, a great enormous black guy I've never met. I knew Eddie, his shoulders about 5 foot across, and he played a 4/4 bass, the full-size bass. He had what they call huge hands and an adapted technique, but he played a lot of accidentals with the band. I don't know how good sight reading, but they all got together, Freddie Green and Basie, when they made that record, and they had to get it together because it was an incredible record. And he had the drive, the push, and a big black sound. There you are, I can't say anymore. He retired after the Atomic Basie, and he was a solicitor. New York